Alrighty, Hosses, welcome back. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to use states to keep your attacks nice and organized. Now, it's pretty clear that even after just a few minutes of using Burp, the interface can get pretty cluttered. Now, it isn't Burp's fault, it's just because we're working with a lot of data, we're scanning a lot of web pages, and if you just look at like your scan logs, okay, we got a bunch of different scan logs already. Our proxy history, I mean, we might have like thousands and thousands of pages. Our sitemap, this can get pretty big as well. So, just a lot of information, and it can kind of clutter up everything, kind of overwhelm you. So I'm going to show you guys my workflow of how I like to organize everything, and it keeps me from losing my mind. So the very first thing I always do before I even start Burp is I like to make a new directory for each target. Now I usually just name it the website name. So I'm going to name this one B, and all of my attack states, and I'll show you guys what they are in just a second. Basically, saving your project, that's all it is. They're all going to go in here. So don't just stick them all in the same location or else it's going to get real confusing. Stick every single log or state in their own personal directory. So from there, once that's set up, I like to hop back into Burp, and I like to start working with Burp's core settings. In other words, the options that are never going to change no matter what, such as your proxy, that's always going to point to the same IP address, the same port. Maybe you want Burp to look the same every single time you use it. Just your core Burp options. So once you have those saved and configured exactly how you like, what I do is I just start going through tab by tab and cleaning everything out. So no info in here, none there, that's good. Intruder, no extra tabs open. The scanner, all my scan logs, I'm gonna do Control A and just delete all of them. So there you go, that's cleared out your spider. Make sure that you don't have any requests queued. Now your proxy. For your proxy history, I'm going to select all of these, delete them, yes. Now my target, the sitemap is the one thing that you usually want to keep, because remember, the sitemap, that's not going to change unless they have a bunch of new web pages added or anything like that, but this is something that you can keep. Now, one thing I do like to make sure of is that this target is added to the scope, which it is, and no other directories are showing, only my target scope. So now look at this, we pretty much have an awesome clean starting point, don't have a bunch of data piled up anywhere. This is the state of my project where whenever I start working on stuff and it starts getting messy again, I want to come back to here. So what I can do from here is if I go to Burp, Save State, it gives you a little wizard with some additional options, basically saying choose the tools that you want to save the state of. All of those look good. Also, I only want to save in scope items, and I'm going to click next. What tools do you want to save the settings or configurations of? All of them. And it's usually a good idea to protect this file with some password that it's going to encrypt it with, because if someone comes in, they go on your computer and say, oh, what is this? You're trying to hack into some website. Well, it's better that they don't see that for obvious reasons. However, for this little lesson, since it's just a demo, I'm just going to save everything in clear text, hit next, and now in your directory that you just made, you can save this project. So I'm just going to name attack 001, and this you never want to change. This is the point that you always go back to. So I'm going to hit save, next, and it's going to save it. So now I got attack 001 saved, my starting point. So now I can just start doing other stuff. Maybe every day I want to attack a different section of the website, and I don't know, what else can we do? So you want to scan this branch, just start working, doing whatever you want. So okay, after a while, after an hour or so, I start to notice that this is getting pretty cluttered again. My scan logs, my proxy history, I'm in the same pickle that I was before. But now all I have to do is I say, okay, you know what, I want to get back to that starting point because it's starting to get a little overwhelming. Go to burp, restore state, attack 1, next. What do you want to restore? All of those, next, and next. And now, with the click of a button, you're back to base again. So it definitely helps with getting overwhelmed with all that data. And also, if you get to another point in time where you're like, you know what, this is actually pretty good, pretty important stuff, I want to save this too, you can just save an additional state. Maybe you want to name it attack 002, keep them in order, whatever. But there you go. That is how you save and restore states and how you can keep Burp Suite a little more organized.